welcome back to the Review of Death, your fortnightly home for Doctor Who news and reviews. I'm Matthew Toffolo, and today I'm joined by Sylvester McCoy. No, it's Jonathan Toffolo, my brother, who is kindly filling in for Billy Garrett John, who is still in New Zealand, the lucky bugger. Jonathan, hello.
Hello. Do you know Goronway by any chance?
Do I know Goronway?
Because I've got a penchant for honey. That's why I'm here today.
Right, lovely. I should have seen if we had any honey in the kitchen before we started. We probably do somewhere. Hello.
Hello.
So for those who are listening on audio, I'm sorry again that you have to try and decipher which one of us is which. But for those of you watching on video, I think it's blatantly obvious who is who, because Jonathan's come dressed as Sylvester McCoy, your favourite Doctor.
Absolutely.
Your favourite Doctor.
Absolutely.
In your very snazzy outfit.
Thank you.
Very well done, very authentic.
Thank you.
Authentic to the point of, this is in fact a screen-used handkerchief.
This is.
That is the real McCoy, as it were.
The real McCoy, absolutely, yeah. Screen used.
So why have you decided to come in dressed like Sylvester McCoy?
Because you told me to.
Yeah.
Simple. I wouldn't have done it otherwise. You just said, do it. So.
That's not 100% true.
Oh, isn't it? Oh, okay.
No, because when we decided the story on which we're going to be talking about today, you did turn around to me and say, should I get dressed up as Sylvester McCoy?
Really?
Yeah, and I said, oh yeah, that'd be funny. And then when I posted it on Twitter, and then you asked to get, and I said, you've got to do it.
Yes.
You were like, oh.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm quite happy to,
Any opportunity for him to get dressed up as Sylvester McCoy, he will do it. Unfortunately, there's nobody in the office with us today.
Or fortunately, as the case may be.
Oh, well, fortunately for you, unfortunately for me, because I was really hoping that someone would come in and see him in the full regalia and think, what's this bloody lunatic doing? Or maybe they wouldn't bat an eyelid in this office, you never know.
No, hopefully not.
So you're dressed as Sylvester McCoy, so what story are we talking about today?
Well, I've already given you a clue.
You've already given us a clue, yeah. So we're talking about Delta and the Bannermen, the third story from season 24, Sylvester McCoy's first season, which was from 1987, wasn't it?
Correct.
That was the year you became a Doctor Who fan.
I was 4 years old.
4 years old. So what time of year would this have been on?
Would have been winter time, November-ish.
Okay, so yeah, so you'd had your 4th birthday
in May.
Today.
Oh yes,
today is the 5th of May when this is going out.
Yes,
so
correct.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
How old are you? Well, people will work it out because
953.
953. Yeah. Well, 2 of those numbers are in your age.
Yes. Yeah. We'll cut that. Just crit. Shit. Right. Okay. Is it 957, 953?
953.
You got it right, yeah, good.
But yeah, he's meant to be the Sylvester McCoy fan.
Yeah, cut this bit.
No, I'm keeping it in. Just.
Cut it, you bastard!
That's got to stay in now. So before we get into Delta and the Bannermen, let's do our usual news segment. Anything happened in the world of Doctor Who?
Oh, not really.
No, not really.
Not these days.
Well, you say that, but actually there's a few little tidbits of things that have come out.
Go on then.
So, Doctor Who Redacted, as we mentioned last time.
We did.
I have now listened to the first 2 episodes. Episode 3 has come out, but I've not listened to that yet.
And your thoughts, Matthew Toffolo?
Without going in it too much, because I know this will be something Billy and I discuss at length, really, really good. Really good. It was something that I sort of dismissed as like, oh, okay, just another bit of flim-flam alongside the main show. I actually wasn't going to bother listening to it. I thought, I'll give it a go. And honestly...
You've enjoyed it?
I've really enjoyed it.
That's good.
It's very Russell T Davies Doctor Who, so if you like your very realistic characters and a bit more, I don't want to say soapiness to it, but, more social realism to your drama, to your Doctor Who, definitely give it a go.
And how long are these episodes?
About 20 minutes each. So
that's quite a nice time.
It's a nice time. Yeah. It's not like you're having to listen to a Big Finish story and it's like 45, 50 minutes.
Yeah.
You can just take a little snippet out of your day while you're doing the washing up or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's a good listen. There's lots of Easter eggs to other stories. I shan't spoil
Well, we
them.
are in Easter at the moment, Easter period, so that's quite useful.
That is quite useful.
Yeah.
So, the theology teacher in
Theologian here,
so Doctor Who Redacted, definitely give it a listen. And like I said, Billy and I will be talking about that at some point in the future.
Okay.
And then what else have we had? It was Big Finish Day, I think last weekend or the weekend before, so between us recording. And the big announcement from that was that Big Finish have the license to 13th Doctor era characters, including the Master and the Fugitive Doctor, meaning that we will now be getting a Master box set, or a series of Master box sets with Sacha Dhawan, and we will also be getting a series of Fugitive Doctor box sets with Jo Martin reprising her role as the Fugitive Doctor.
That'll be interesting, particularly depending on how the next episode finishes with her. If it's not very well, realised, perhaps.
If she's in it at all, because we don't really know if Jo Martin is in it.
True.
I would assume that she is.
Yeah. To try and tie up that.
Yeah, that whole arc.
Yeah.
But again, as we've said on previous episodes of the podcast, that centenary special, if she is in it as well, my God, that is getting very, very busy. Interesting that they've now got the license to do that. Does make me wonder how long it will be before Jodie Whittaker perhaps steps in and does some stuff.
On audio.
Audio. Now that she's just going to be having a baby, that might just be the sort of thing that she wants to do. Because it'll be like, well, I can work from home. I can take an hour or two recording a Doctor Who.
Absolutely.
You never know. So that's interesting.
Anything else, or was that about it?
Anything else that's happened? Well, off the back of the Fugitive Doctor, in that same vein, we've got a Fugitive Doctor comic book coming out very soon. And that is supposed to tie in with all of her origins and all that kind of stuff. I think from what people have said, or the description for the Big Finish stuff, her audio adventures take place after the Fugitive of the Jadoon. So it's after the 13th Doctor finds her and gives her memories back and all that sort of stuff. So I don't know if it'll be delving too much into her time with Division and all that stuff. But it'll be interesting to see, or listen to, nonetheless. But then Chris Chibnall did a massive interview in DWM.
He did, didn't he? Yes.
This month, which was really interesting. It was interesting to see how he talked about his time on the series, because I sort of got the impression that he sort of took the job because no one else was going to take the job. And I think he sort of felt like, well...
Begrudgingly.
I don't know if it was necessarily begrudgingly. I think it was just like, well, if I don't do it, I'll probably regret it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just didn't seem... I don't know. It didn't seem like he had necessarily a plan of what he wanted to do if he ever got Doctor Who.
I see.
Other than, I'd like to cast a woman.
Yeah.
But it was interesting to hear about where the Timeless Child stuff came from. That came from the fact that Chris Chibnall was adopted, so he wanted an adoption storyline, and a little bit about, what makes you you. Is it your parents, or is it, your upbringing? Nature, nurture. So it was really interesting, and it was fun to see, the stories of his that he wasn't so keen on, like the Battle of Rav's Core of Kolos, or whatever the hell that story is called, which he said was not his favourite because it was a first draft that had to be filmed.
Gosh, I mean, it's incredulous thinking that the first draft made it on screen.
Yeah, but apparently that isn't the first time it's happened. It's happened with like Russell, I think, and Stephen. I think their schedules are just so massively busy and so hectic that they just, sometimes these things happen.
Yeah.
Because I guess they're not only writing their own scripts and doing all of the masses of other stuff that comes with that job.
Yeah, of course,
but then they're tidying up other people's scripts and helping other writers. So it's a I think you don't know the half of it really. I think it's very easy for us to sit on our soapbox or sit on our leather sofa and just talk nonsense about it. So it was interesting. So definitely pick up DWM for this month if you're interested in seeing what Chris Chibnall has to say about his time on Doctor Who. It might be the only time he talks about it now.
Possibly.
Before the Russell T Davies era point 2 starts off. Millennium Effects, who left Doctor Who with Series 12.
Well, they're back, aren't they?
They have announced that they're coming back for new Doctor Who. Neil Gorton, I think, mentioned it on a Facebook group. And he said the second Doctor Who reboot is how he referred to it.
Interesting.
So, I guess that kind of channels in with what we were thinking, that this new era of Doctor Who would be a bit more like Series 1.
Yeah.
Very much back to basics. Not stripping all the continuity, but not continuity heavy.
Yes, yeah.
Because, even the Chris Chibnall stuff has been quite continuity laden. In terms of like Cybermen, Daleks, Sontarans, Gallifrey, Timeless Child stuff.
Yes.
So lots of stuff.
And wasn't there a magazine that came out recently all about the figures, the toys?
There's
Have
a
you mentioned
magazine.
that?
There's a magazine that has come out about
But
the
don't
figures.
bother getting it because they never asked Matt to do anything, and it's crap.
Yeah, they never. They never asked, I was not asked to contribute. Yeah, which was quite sad. But, never mind. Yeah, so that's the Doctor Who news roundup. Oh, and I think season 22 might be coming out next month. We're in May now.
We're in May now,
so
yes.
June,
So it is
possibly.
next month.
So it is next month.
Yeah.
Hopefully, anyway.
Delayed, isn't it? Has it been delayed?
It was delayed. I think it was supposed to come out in March, and now
Is that COVID-related stuff?
I think
possibly?
so,
Yeah.
and all that kind of thing. So hopefully June or July we should finally be getting our lovely season 22 box sets in the post.
Good.
But now let's travel back to Wales,
1987.
So, Jonathan,
Yes,
seeing as you were a little baba
I was.
when this was on,
Yes.
tell me what you remember about.
This story.
Well, 1987.
Well, I didn't know. I was 4. I didn't remember much from 1987, but I do remember this story. I remember watching it.
Where would you have watched this? At home or
At home.
Yeah.
Yeah, at home. And certain bits stand out to me more than others.
Okay.
Yeah, other bits, I remember the Bannermen being quite cool. I quite enjoyed them. And
Sticking their tongues out.
Sticking their tongues out, yeah. And the cliffhanger to episode 2. I remember that one quite vividly, when he comes down the steps.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I remember that one. I know it's not a particularly good cliffhanger, but for some
That's
reason
interesting.
it sticks in my mind, that thought. Maybe as a 4-year-old, I thought, oh, crikey, they're going to shoot him.
Yeah.
You
can only hope.
It's a very dangerous point on the end of this story.
It is,
Right, okay.
Oh, okay, interesting, because, you would think that you would probably remember episode 1 more with the green baby and the...
Yeah, obviously I do remember that as well. Obviously that was quite interesting. Good effect, actually.
It is good effect. So, usually what happens in this segment, Billy will always turn around to me and say, right, what was the number 1 hit single of 1987 at that time?
No idea.
And then what was the number 1 film at the box office? No ideas?
No, haven't got a clue.
Haven't got a Scooby? Nope. Well, I had a quick look, and I can also tell you I haven't got a frigging clue. So, in the box office for around that time, UK box office, was a film called White Mischief.
Never heard of it.
No, it's got Charles Dance in it from Game of Thrones. Really good. And then UK number 1 was You Win Again by the Bee Gees.
Really? Okay.
Which I was quite surprised for 1987, but
okay.
Were they still making music then?
I have no idea.
No, but there we are. That was that little segment, completely butchered. What was in the charts in terms of video games? I don't know, probably Super Mario.
I would have thought back then. On the NES, yes, yeah.
Would you have had a NES by then?
87, possibly.
4 years old, really?
Oh, I don't know, maybe I was a bit
older.
older.
Was it yours or was it Paolo's?
No, it was mine.
Okay.
Yeah, Dad bought it for me. Yeah, because you weren't around.
No,
it was for me.
I was not around.
Yeah, I reckon then, or maybe the following year, maybe when I was 5, perhaps, we got the NES, but it was around that time.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
It's so weird to think that, at 1 minute you're playing your NES, the other later on you're watching Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Like live as it's happening.
Yeah.
And the NES is new.
Yes.
Is a new console.
Brilliant.
Graphics are all cutting edge.
They were compared to like Pong.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Which is a good game, by the way.
Oh, Pong's a classic.
Yeah.
But we're not here to talk about Pong.
No, we're not.
Or the
No.
NES.
No.
So, because that is obviously your era of Doctor Who, what do you think of the title sequence for Sylvester McCoy's era?
I really like it, but I mean, obviously, I'm probably going to say that, but it just stood out to me at the time.
Yeah.
And even now, I still think it's quite a good retro type of title sequence. I like the music, the sound of it, the look of it.
Yeah.
I really like it. I know some people hate it.
I was going to say, I mean, I completely agree with you. I love because it's the same like seeing it as a kid. I always loved it because it was so energetic.
Yeah.
And it was like a real roller coaster ride through the stars. Whereas the more traditional title sequences are just the time tunnel. This just
and they're great as well. Obviously, don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
the original classic.
Yeah. But there was just something exciting.
Yeah, just different, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I guess the up-tempo music as well.
Yeah, different key.
Different key, yeah, much to Delia Derbyshire's
dismay, yeah.
But yeah, I really love it, and I love Kef's rendition of the theme. I know some people say it's the worst version of the theme, and I think that is completely wrong.
I don't agree with that.
I don't agree with that at all.
No.
Keeping on the theme of Kef McCulloch, his score for this story.
Yeah, really good.
Really good, isn't it?
It just fits in so well with the era.
I mean, obviously, it's got that 80s synth quality to it because,
Yes,
it's all
that's-
composed on his Yamaha,
Yeah, yeah.
whatever, and his synthesizers.
But the feel of the 50s is there, isn't it?
Very
Yeah,
much so.
yeah.
There's a real
rock
sort
and
of
roll
rock
era.
and roll vibe. Even with stuff like bespoke music composed, Here's to the Future,
Yeah.
used at the end.
Yeah.
It just really, I think the soundtrack for me encapsulates the feel-good nature of this story. Now, I have gone on record many times saying that season 24 is my least favourite season of Doctor Who.
Yeah. Do you mean even including modern day Doctor Who, or do you mean of the classics?
Of the classics, it is my least favourite season of Doctor Who.
Not of including modern Doctor Who, surely not.
I would have said, once upon a time, that season 24 was my least favourite season altogether.
Interesting.
Not now, though.
Okay.
Because I think seasons like series 11, like Jodie Whittaker's first series,
Yes.
I don't think that's very good.
No.
So I get more enjoyment, even from a story that I dislike, like Paradise Towers.
Yes.
When we watched the season 24 box
Recently.
set together,
Yeah.
I actually sat down and thought, you know what? Although this is ridiculous,
There's mad stuff in it.
and
And I say that as well, don't get me wrong. I agree, there are mad bits in it. You know.
and it's a bit crap. I'm enjoying it. I can switch my brain off and
Yeah.
just go, well, it's good fun.
And they're having a good time, and they're enjoying
They're having
it.
a good time. Like even Time in the Rani. I know people really go hard on Time in the Rani, but I don't think Time in the Rani is that bad.
No, I don't think so. I mean, that was the first story I ever watched.
Yeah.
And it grabbed my attention.
Yeah.
And kept me going. Here I am now, 40 years later. Not quite, but nearly.
Just like a sad git.
It's like an idiot, yeah. That's
So there you are. That's a parental warning. Don't
so-
watch Time in the Rani.
No, otherwise you might end up like me. A sad, lonely bastard. Don't put that.
I'm not editing out. So let's start at the beginning of the story. We kick off this episode.
Are you not going to ask me first, do I like the story, like overall, whether we like it generally before we go into bits and pieces?
Well, we can do. Do you like the story?
I do. I think it's a very good story.
Yeah, I also really like it.
Yeah, I know, again, lots of people don't like it.
Lots of people don't like it, but
I think it's a good little romp.
it's a good little romp, and it's always been my favourite out of this season.
I know it has for you, yeah.
Which I know some people will probably be shocked because they'll probably think, well, what? You've got Dragonfire in that season.
Yeah.
But honestly, I've never been that keen
No, I know you
on
haven't, yeah.
Dragonfire, but this one is it's just good fun. It's just good fun.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's done well, isn't it?
It's done very well.
Yeah.
It's a nice production. It looks pretty
good.
swish.
Yeah.
There's a few bits here and there.
Well, yeah.
But that's par for the course with any Doctor Who story.
Some good explosions.
Some fantastic explosions. And so speaking of explosions, the story kicks off with a really good action sequence, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So that really gets you into the action of the story.
The music's good as well. That from Kef in that opening scene.
Yeah, good bit of quarry action.
Yeah, the quarry action. The guy dies falling off the quarry.
Yeah,
off the top of the
cliff. Yeah. And you've got stuff like the spaceship looks really good.
It does look good, yeah.
There's some good model work here. And even later on when you've got the satellite coming out of the NASA rocket or whatever.
Yes.
That all looks really good.
Yeah. For the time, doesn't it? For
the time-
87.
well, it still stands up today.
Yeah.
And especially stuff like the sequence where the TARDIS rescues the bus. That
I
looks
love
really
that
good.
one with the light, the beam. That is good.
It's very, very good.
Yeah.
And stuff like the makeup on the Shimmerons, I don't think JNT was particularly pleased with it, but we saw it the other day and we thought, actually, this looks all right.
Wasn't too bad, was it? Yeah.
They kind of look like the little green toy soldiers.
They do.
That you can used to be able to get. I don't know if they still
like from
do
Toy
those.
Story.
Like
those
from,
little
yeah.
yeah.
I don't know if that was intentional or
don't know.
just some weird thing, but yeah. We're also introduced to our main villain at the start of the episode,
Yes.
Gavrock, as played by Don Henderson,
Yeah.
who plays him fantastically
he's
well.
great, isn't he? Yeah.
He is so good because he doesn't ham it up at all.
He doesn't. No, he plays it straight, doesn't he?
He plays it dead straight,
he does,
which is what is needed, And I think this is why, in contrast, a story like Paradise Towers
where it's hammed
doesn't
up.
work.
Yeah.
Because I think Paradise Towers is obviously so camp and ridiculous. Then when you have your baddie also being camp and ridiculous, the threat is just diminished.
Yes, that makes sense. Yeah.
But here, it balances it out.
It does,
and you feel like the threat is genuine.
And of course, Kane plays it straight as
And
well.
Kane plays it straight as well. So I think that's... And to be fair, even the Rani plays it straight.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's all daft dressing up like
Yes,
Mel and stuff, but, you know, it is still... There is an element of villainy and menace.
Yeah.
You don't have...
Malevolence, you get that sense, don't you?
Yeah, you know, it doesn't feel comical in the same way as Richard Pryor's going, oh,
yeah,
and all that stuff. So he's great. Don Henderson, of course, being in Star Wars, A New Hope.
Yes. Red Dwarf.
And Red Dwarf as the simulant in that Crichton episode.
Yeah.
I never get invited to parties.
You got the part, by the way.
Thank you very much. And that bit when he's eating the meat as well.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I think that was his...
I think the hands, were they not his idea? To have the hands
webbed?
Yeah,
that's
that was
really
his
cool.
idea as
well.
well.
Yeah, the hands
perhaps.
are awful.
They do.
It's really good because, you know, it's just subtle enough to make him feel alien.
It is, yeah.
Much in the same way that the Bannermen, you know, they look humanoid, but then they stick their tongues out and they look like they've been eating...
And they're red, aren't they?
Yeah, it looks like they've been licking... like
Lollipops.
Yeah, Bannerman. Do you think they're a good threatening baddie?
Well, they're okay. They're not fantastic, are they?
No, they're a bit hopeless.
They're
like,
compared
to him...
No, because they're very different, really, aren't they? Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't kill him all and do it on his own. He'd
probably do it much better,
He'd do it much better, really, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So he's really good. I think he really roots the story.
He does,
in a way.
yeah.
Then we've got the introduction of one of the guest casting choices of JNT that got a lot of criticism back in the day.
Yeah.
And that is Ken Dodd as the toll master at the spaceport.
Saw Ken Dodd at the Hippodrome.
We saw Ken Dodd live, He was very good.
Brilliant, wasn't he? Absolutely brilliant.
Excellent.
Yeah.
He was so
Gosh,
good.
he did that show for hours.
Yeah.
On his own. I'm not sure whether he had a supporting...
Nope.
He didn't, did he? And it was... Well, he said you never go out of the theatre. That's when he was running jokes, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was like 10:30. It was ridiculous.
You always got your money's worth.
Yeah,
always got your money's worth.
He was brilliant.
He was so good. And what did you... I mean, obviously for you as a kid, it wouldn't have really mattered who it was because you were so small you wouldn't have known he was Ken Dodd.
I mean, and he was only in it briefly, isn't he?
Yeah.
You know, fine. I mean, I didn't really think much of it, to be honest. You know.
No.
I mean, I think he does it quite well.
I think he does it very well.
And he's got a little twinkle in his eye, hasn't he? You know, and I mean, the death scene obviously is a bit over the top.
Well, I think
and obviously hence that's why they cut.
Yeah, I think if you see the extended version on the Blu-ray, the death scene is rather ridiculous.
Yeah.
But where they cut it, I think
it's
works fine.
It works fine where they cut it. Yeah.
Yeah. I really don't understand the criticism. I think it was probably just this thing of...
Well, you're getting in these people
to
try and get the show some publicity, as it were. Yeah, I think,
I think he was very good casting for that part.
Yeah.
He really does it very well. And so the Doctor and Mel win their trip to Disneyland.
You do.
Going back to 1959. Unfortunately... It all goes a bit tits up. We've got another alien race. Well, we've got the Shimmerons, the green soldier men, led by Delta, the titular Delta, who has run off with an incubator.
Yeah.
And then we've got, and this is interesting, and I hadn't thought about this. So the incubator has the egg in it.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend said this yesterday when we were talking about it. She said, "Who's the daddy?"
Yeah, I mean, that's not alluded to, is it?
No. And the guy...
Not the guy that gets killed.
Well, I said maybe it's the guy who gets killed. But it's weird. He turns round to her and says, "Here, take this," being the incubator. That's a bit like... I mean, I guess they're trying to save the surprise that there's a baby.
There's a baby inside it, yeah.
But it just feels a bit weird. Take this.
Yeah, true.
Because I said, well, maybe they're Shimmerons, maybe they don't have fathers, maybe they're...
Yes, you did say that. It's possible.
But then later on at the end of the story, Billy does say that they need a male...
To continue the race.
To continue the race. So
therefore, one would assume they do procreate in some strange way.
Yeah. Just a weird tangent there. But,
before we go on, we should say that when the Doctor comes out of the TARDIS...
Oh, Christ, here we go.
In this scene,
we
see this for the first time.
He's holding up his brolly, people on Spotify.
On audio.
He's not got his wang out.
So, we see his question mark umbrella for the first time, because obviously the first two stories he doesn't have the question mark umbrella. He has the wooden umbrella in Paradise Towers, of course.
Bamboo, yeah.
The bamboo one, but he has this one from this story, and hence when the door opens, you don't see the Doctor first, you see the brolly come out first. I think that was probably intended to show, this is a new prop. But it wasn't the finished prop, of course, because the end of the brolly was not painted red in this story. It was still plain. It wasn't until the following story, Dragonfire, when it was finally painted red. So it was not quite finished in that story.
Wow. So I hope our listeners and viewers feel...
You can rest easily now.
Yeah, feel enriched by that information.
Yeah, I've got more tidbits to come, don't worry.
Oh, God, okay. okay. So speaking of brollies, he uses it as a extra prop, doesn't he, inside the TARDIS?
He does, and of course that scene's very interesting because that wasn't actually filmed for this. Well, it was filmed for this block, but it was filmed during Dragonfire.
Yeah,
and we know that because the brolly end is red, and also because the chain is the other way around in that story.
Oh, is that why you're wearing it like this today?
That's why I'm wearing it for this story.
Oh,
so in
Dragonfire
it's that way around, and you see that in that scene, so that's why.
Oh, very nice, very nice.
And while I'm on costumes, might as well just carry on, really. This is also the first story that we know that he's actually wearing a tank top, a pullover, because in the first two stories, he doesn't take his jacket off. But in this story, at the dance, of course, he does, and we know that it's actually a tank top and not a jumper. Does anybody care? Nobody except me in the whole world, but there we go.
Well, there we go. So if you were knitting your jumper in 1987 and you were foolish enough to have added sleeves, and then you tuned in for Delta and the Bannerman episode 1, and saw him without his jacket on, you'd have gone, oh, God, I've added sleeves to this bloody thing.
I've got to take the sleeves off.
Take the sleeves off. Well, thank you for
just add
that
little bit of information.
I'm sure the people listening find it fascinating. If you do, please leave a comment below and let us know. Otherwise, just tell us to shut him up.
Don't worry, this is my last one now, so Billy's back next time, so you'll be fine.
Normality resumes.
Normality resumes,
Until we drag you back for something else.
Yeah, oh Lord.
So we've got the other aliens in this story. The purple blobby...
Yes.
Oh, God, what are they called? This is bad, we only watched it yesterday.
Yes.
The
Navarrones. Navarrones? No.
Guns of Navarone.
Something like that.
Navinos.
No, look it up.
Oh, God, this is really bad. This is really bad.
We won't put all this in, will we?
Oh, we might do, because it's quite funny.
Is it?
What are they called?
It shows we're fallible.
It shows we're something. Delta and the Bannermen. We were paying attention when we watched this story. Delta and the Bannermen, they are called...
Sure, something like Navarrones or something.
It is something like that.
Oh, that's what I said. What'd you laugh at me for then?
Well, because that's the cowboy film.
The Guns of Navarone. Yes, I know that.
It's the Guns of Navarone!
Yeah, thank you, Rick Mel.
Oh, feck me. Plot. Here we go. Navarinos.
Oh, so close.
Navarinos. Okay, so we've got the blobby Navarinos who have disguised themselves as human beings on this nostalgia tours trip, which I think is a great concept.
It's good, isn't it?
I think that's really clever.
It's fun, isn't it? And different.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's nice to think that every human being, or most of the human characters in this story, or extras, are all purple blobby aliens.
Yeah, correct, yeah.
And I think it's great, they've got the bus that's souped up to travel through space.
Yeah.
It's really fun. It's so Doctor Who. I think it's so Doctor Who to have the familiar, but it's alien and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Very, very good. And then, of course, they run into some trouble by smashing into a satellite on their travels.
Yeah.
And
Doctor saves the day.
Doctor saves the day. And so they don't land in Disneyland. They land in true Doctor Who fashion in Wales, Shangri-La holiday camp.
Yeah.
Barry Island, isn't it? Is it Barry Island where it was shot?
Possibly. Remember.
Somewhere like that.
Yeah.
Little did they know that would be the home for Doctor Who for the 21st century.
Interesting, yeah.
Isn't that really funny?
Yeah.
And again, what a perfect setting for a Doctor Who story.
Yeah.
Very British, obviously very of that period.
Of the time, yeah. Very popular, weren't they?
Very popular.
Yeah.
Although when we were watching it, we both said, my God, couldn't think of anything worse than being somewhere like that.
Oh, we said that, yeah.
But funny to think, our parents or grandparents probably might have holidayed at a place not dissimilar to that. poor them. Then we get introduced to some of the other characters who make this story even more colourful.
Yeah.
So we've got Burton, the
Yes.
holiday camp,
Yeah.
and the guy who runs the holiday
Played
camp.
so well.
Played fantastically
Yeah,
well. I
yeah.
didn't take down the actor's name, but he is so good. He's brilliant. Also joined by John Nathan Turner's dog, Pepsi, making one of several appearances in Doctor Who. Very, very good, getting him in there. Then we're introduced to Billy, the mechanic, who
helps out to try and
fix the bus.
Yeah.
Quite how he manages to...
This alien technology.
A bit weird, but, you know, he muscles through.
Yeah.
And then we have our companion who isn't a companion, but might have been a companion.
Yeah.
We've got Ray.
Yes.
So let's talk about Ray a little bit. What do we think of Ray as a potential companion? She's a biker girl. She's always equipped with her bag of tools. That's her little gimmick. What do we think?
She's like Ace, basically, isn't she?
She is a bit of an ace. Rather than Nitro 9, she's got a toolkit. That seems to be a running theme with Andrew Cartmell's would-be companion.
Yes,
Because you've got this with Ray, you've got Ace with her Nitro 9, and then I think with the other companion that would have taken over in season 27, Rain, I think her name was, she would have been a safecracker. So one would assume she would have had a kit that would have allowed her to
access
break
safes.
into things and all that sort of stuff, a burglar's kit. Interesting.
It is interesting.
All of those companions would have had a little gimmick. But I guess that's just a little something to...
And strong women as well.
And strong women
isn't
too.
It? He's trying to, he's trying to get away from the tripping over,
very much so.
Screaming.
Sylvester McCoy's Doctor, I don't think people say this enough, but Sylvester McCoy's Doctor is a bit of an action man, isn't he, really?
He is.
Because he rides the motorbike in this story.
Yeah.
He rides
Survival.
the motorbike in Survival. He gets in that go-kart thing in
Happiness
Patrol. He drives the van in
Members of the
Daleks. He's a bit of an action man. People think that, he's just a funny little man in a straw hat. But, he has his moments.
He does have moments, he does.
Which is really cool. I like that because, it just presents all these different facets to a character whose appearance you would not assume them to do that. That's just a little side bit. I think it would have been interesting having Ray aboard the TARDIS.
It would have been,
she probably would have been learning how to do stuff to the TARDIS.
Possibly.
How to fix the console and all this sort of stuff. She'd have been really interested. I think she'd have been really good fun. And I think the actress who plays her does
a good job.
Does a really good job.
Does a good job.
Particularly in
and you feel so sorry for her, don't you?
You do feel sorry for her.
Because of the love for Billy, and
it's that unrequited love. Billy's a bit stupid, isn't he, really? Because here he's got this pretty girl who really likes him.
She adores him.
Adores him. She has all the same interests. And
he's just
he's smitten by this alien lady. So shout out to Ray. Why doesn't she come back in a Big Finish box set?
She would be a good character to bring back.
They should do a Ray, not necessarily a box set, but they should go back to Shangri-La. However many years later, what would it be? 40? No, it's not 40. Is it 40 years?
What now? Present day?
Yeah, like how is it? Would it be 40 years for that actress since you last played the part?
Getting on 30 odd, wouldn't it?
30 odd years. So what was it? 59, 69, 79, 89. Oh my God, it'd be like the period when she actually recorded it.
Yeah.
It'd be like late 80s. Late 80s Ray. What's she up to? Do it. That'd be good. She probably runs her own like mechanics workshop or something. Oh, yeah, I shouldn't say that. Give someone ideas and they'll write it for Big Finish. But shout out to her. And the way that she says ionized.
She loves that word, doesn't she? Yeah, it's good.
He's been ionized.
Yeah.
He was ionized.
Yeah, she likes that one.
Yeah, very good. Delta. Yeah, let's talk about Delta. The titular Delta. She's a bit shit. That's what I put in my notes.
Yeah, she's not the greatest actress, is she? She's not overly believable.
No.
She's a bit wooden. Isn't she, as a character?
Yeah.
She's a nice-looking lady and very striking, and she,
you can
the
see
princess.
why.
Yeah, you can see why she was chosen.
She caught Billy's eye. Maybe he's got a thing for women with slightly green pallor to their skin.
Possibly.
But yes, she's aloof, isn't she?
Yeah, she's aloof.
She's aloof.
She is.
And, that's clearly his sort
thing.
of thing.
Yeah. He's drawn to that, yeah.
He's drawn to that type of girl. They have a nice dance. That's good fun.
Yes,
Kev
they do.
McCulloch is in the band.
Kev's in the band, which is lovely.
Good fun.
Yeah.
Billy does a bit of singing. Sylv does a bit of dancing.
With his pullover.
With his pullover. Not dancing with his pullover.
No, not with
dancing,
yes.
just his pullover on.
Not just his pullover on, he's got other clothes on as well.
Well, yeah, I
trousers,
hope so. It's just a family show, so put your kecks back on.
Oh dear.
Yes. Now, why does Delta run away from the dance? I forgot. She buggers off. Mel follows her. Mel shares that because they all get split up. Mel shares a room with Delta.
She does.
And she says to the doctor, doesn't she? Like,
Ray runs off because she's sad because
he's singing "Why Do Fools Fall in Love?"
Correct.
To Delta.
To Delta. So then the doctor follows Ray.
Yeah. Delta buggers off, doesn't she?
Delta goes off as well, does she? I think I can remember. Yeah.
Delta goes off. Mel pursues Delta. Or does Mel just go back to the
chalet perhaps, yeah.
Anyhow, then we have the cliffhanger to episode 1, which is, first of all, a green baby being hatched from an egg.
Yeah, which looks really good.
It does look really good.
I'm very impressed with that.
Yeah, watching it again,
effect.
that puppet's really good.
That puppet is excellent.
Yeah.
It's quite scary, actually.
It is quite scary.
As a little kid, you see that happening.
And you used to be able to get those babies.
Did you? Could you?
On eBay, I remember.
Really?
Yeah, you could get yourself a shimmer-on baby.
Right, okay. Oh, sorry, you mean like a mock-up prop?
Yeah, prop.
Oh, I see, right, okay, I thought you meant, yeah, okay, fine, yeah.
Not a real one.
No, I didn't mean that.
They were quite easy to come by. I've seen a few people who've got
so
shimmer-on babies in their
them, yeah.
collection. Never fancied a shimmer-on baby for
No,
your Seventh Doctor collection?
No, I'm all right for the time being.
Yeah.
I've got other things I need to get first. Yeah.
So that does look really good. Apparently the effect took hours to set up.
I bet it did.
And I think I read it in, I think it was in DWM. They said that the props man was so pissed off with it that after they'd finished recording the scene, they kicked it.
Oh no!
They booted it down the bloody field of, the park because they were so sick of it.
Wow! So the original prop doesn't exist anymore.
It doesn't exist anymore. No. Much
what
to
a shame.
The disappointment of it was. Oh gosh, I forget the names of the people who sculpted it. But they're very nice.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, and I think they were a bit annoyed that happened.
Sure, they were. Yeah.
And then, of course, there's a bit of a double jeopardy story.
Yeah.
Cliffhanger, sorry.
Yes.
Because then you've got
the bounty hunter who finds Sylv. Yeah. Like Sylv sneezes, and I won't sneeze now for you. And
good television sneeze.
Yes.
Yeah.
And gives himself away with Ray, of course.
Yeah.
And
what were they up to?
Well, she was
fumbling around in the blankets.
Fumbling around in the blankets. Yeah.
He did it right for himself there.
He did well. And of course, this bounty hunter comes along and he's going to kill them both.
Because he doesn't just kill for money.
No, he kills for pleasure.
Yeah.
He does, yeah.
The Brummy alien as well.
Brummy alien, yeah, that's good. But his blue suede shoes.
Blue suede shoes. That's excellent. A good gag.
That's a very good gag.
When Gavrok kills him and it's just his blue suede shoes left behind.
I like that. That's good.
That's good fun.
Yeah.
It must have been a hell of an explosion to knock out the pair of them, though.
Well, they were in quite close proximity, weren't they, to him, to be honest? They weren't like miles away. They were quite in that little store cupboard. They were in a area.
And that is, of course, the first time we get Ray's wonderful delivery of ionized.
Yeah. Well, the doctor says it first, of course, doesn't he? He uses the term, and then she then repeats it infinitum, So.
And of course, Billy then walks in and sees, not Billy Garrett John.
No. He's in New Zealand still.
He's in New Zealand. Billy walks in on little Babby.
Yes.
Now, this is still the puppet at this point. So it's still the little...
It's still the puppet hatching out,
Yeah, still a little creature. And
or in her arms, maybe.
It's in her arms, isn't it? He's there with his flowers. He's slicked his hair back.
He's all ready to go.
He looks like John Travolta.
He does look like John Travolta. And he goes, sees it, and is a bit shocked, but then is quite quickly accepting of said child.
She just turns around and says to him,
we need to talk.
Yeah, something like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
And is he probably the most accepting man in the universe?
I think probably, yes.
Because I think most men would have seen that and either
ran away,
scream, shit their pants, and ran away. But clearly he's clearly got the hots for her.
He's into her, isn't he? Yeah, he really is.
He's into that weird shit.
Yeah,
green alien babies as well. This is interesting.
Go on.
I've put it in my thing about room 101. The Doctor is in.
Well, I picked that up, didn't I?
Yeah.
He's in room 101. I mean, maybe it's just coincidence, but I thought interesting that they put me in room 101, that shallow, you
Yeah.
either love him or hate it,
Yeah.
Maybe the thoughts of people, Doctor Who at the time from people.
Yeah, because we were going to look up, was room 101
Yeah, a
on?
thing. I don't know whether the programme was on it then. I wouldn't have thought so, but I could
was
be wrong,
the idea of room 101 as a concept?
I assume that was still around, but I don't know.
Who knows? Interesting. We haven't really talked about the sort of secondary plot to this whole story.
Oh, yes.
With the two
satellite and the
US
two,
agents.
yeah.
Yeah.
So 2 very good actors.
Yeah. One of whom was a big Hollywood actor.
I
forget his name.
Weissmuller.
Yeah.
He was the big character.
The character, yeah.
He was a big Hollywood actor, wasn't he?
Yeah.
In days gone by.
He was, and he was also in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
He was in that good film, yeah, you're right.
He gets smooched by
Jessica Rabbit, yeah, he does, that's right. So to get him, interesting. And of course you see the TARDIS as well, or the police box, which is quite nice.
That's nice that they use a police box as an actual police box. Yeah. That's good fun.
That's good.
So
and they've got a good double act, haven't they?
They've got a
they
good
work
rapport,
well, good rapport, works well.
And then their plot collides with the main plot as of part 2.
Yeah.
But before that happens, we get introduced to Garonway, who you mentioned at the start.
Yes.
Beekeeper.
Yeah.
He's a really nice character.
He's a lovely character, played so well again by that fantastic actor.
Yeah, he does it incredibly well.
Yeah.
It's
played very subtly, isn't it?
Subtly,
that character.
Is naturally eccentric without being ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's got something of the Doctor about him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's got that little mischievous twinkle in his eye,
He's got that
hasn't he?
twinkle in his eye.
Yeah.
Just all that stuff about... when he talked about the butterfly and the pupa,
yeah,
he
that's
said,
lovely.
"Look at the butterfly, it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
If you saw a pupa, you think it was the ugliest thing you'd ever seen.
Yes.
But you can't have one without the other."
Yeah.
It's just these little lines that just make this story sparkle.
They do, yeah.
So it's got
There's some good characters
There's
in this
some lovely
story.
character stuff in this.
Yeah. And they're written well.
Something we didn't mention about Shimmer on Babies. Well, you said how wonderful that puppet is.
Ah, yes.
So throughout the next 2 episodes, this Shimmer on Baby starts to grow up.
Very quickly.
Yeah. And unfortunately, stage 2 of baby growth is absolutely ridiculous.
Yes.
Baby in a baby grow.
Yeah, with a green...
patchy green face.
Yeah.
It looks so ridiculous.
It's not good, is it?
It's not good. It is quite laughable.
Yeah, it is laughable, really.
But I guess they needed to try and show
the transition, didn't they?
But wouldn't it have just made more sense to have just had a baby grow and not had that head covering?
Possibly.
Just painted him. Oh no, but then maybe they would have had to have painted the whole baby's head.
That's possibly why they didn't do that. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, they can't do like a latex prosthetic on a baby.
No, I don't think so. Not even in the 80s would they have been allowed to do that.
I guess now they just CGI.
Yeah, something over it, wouldn't they?
They put a few dots on his head and mocap it or whatever. Yeah. So that is a shame.
Yeah.
Then you've got the Doctor is of course on high alert because now they know that the Bannermen are on the way.
They're on the way.
So it's all it's quick. We've got to try and find Delta. So they're going around all the beauty spots.
The beauty spots on the bike.
A bit more sadness for poor old Ray.
Yeah.
What's Mel doing at this point? She just...
So Mel, what is she doing? Is she not with the...
She's just with the cast of Heidi High.
The Heidi High cast, that's right. Yeah, she's with them.
Because it is Heidi High meets Doctor Who.
It is really, yeah. I think she's with them, isn't she? Doing bits and pieces.
She's trying to get them all evacuated, I guess.
She is, because they know that the Bannermen are on the way, so she's helping out the guy, isn't he? The driver, the bus driver.
Yeah. Yes, because Burton gets all the human people on a bus and they bugger off to wherever.
Yeah.
And then the other bus, the proper transport bus for the nostalgia tours, that's been fixed up by the Doctor using the crystal that he's grown.
Yeah.
So it all seems fine until, of course...
Yes, tragedy strikes.
Gavrok turns up. Well, Gavrok turns up and blows up the tent of those American guys.
Yeah, fantastic.
In the most incredible explosion that you've ever seen for a tent blowing up.
Yeah, it's really good.
Meanwhile, when he blows up the bus, which you think would be an equally tremendous explosion, it's a bit of a little piffle of a fart of an explosion in comparison.
It is, yeah, it's interesting.
But so... it never really dawned on me until very recently.
He
watching
wipes
it.
them all out.
He kills all those people. I mean, Mel obviously makes a big point about it.
Of course, yeah.
But that is so dark in a story that up until this point has been
Quite jovial, isn't it?
Quite comedic.
Yeah.
Even the death of the bounty hunter
Yes.
is done with a comical twinkle.
It is,
like,
yeah.
oh, look at his shoes.
Yeah.
But this is like, shit, they've just absolutely obliterated...
That whole race of people.
Yeah, what's that, like 30 people on that bus?
Easily.
It's really, really horrible. And again, it just cements how good of a baddie Gavrok
he is. Doesn't care.
Couldn't give a shit.
No.
Yeah. Really, really good stuff. What is weird, though, because obviously that's not the cliffhanger. The cliffhanger is the Seventh Doctor turns up to rescue Mel and Burton.
Yeah.
With his white flag, his surrender flag.
Yeah.
And you have that really good confrontation
You
between
do.
the two
It's
of
really
them.
good, yeah. And the dialogue's good.
Life, what do you know about life, Gavrok?
Yeah.
All that stuff
Yeah.
is really, really good. I mean, we've obviously talked at length about how good Don Henderson is. And, using his prop of the meat, spitting it out, I spit on your justice.
I think Sylve's quite believable, isn't he, in that,
he
in that
does
scene?
it well.
He delivers it well.
This story, you start to see more of his Doctor
You do.
as he would become later
Yes,
on.
yeah.
Which is
First
quite
two,
funny.
he's more comical, isn't he, and clownish, as you
Yeah.
say. Now you see...
This one in particular, you really start to see that. And this is a very good indication of that in that moment.
Yeah.
Where he talks down the villain. Because he likes to play his mind games,
He
doesn't
does,
he?
yeah.
It has echo, or I should say the scene in Happiness Patrol when he talks to the snipers.
Yes.
That echoes this scene, really.
Yeah.
But it's funny, though, the cliffhanger of him, they're walking down the steps and then they hear the guns cock and he goes, oh, I think
I may have gone a little too far.
Yeah, that's a good cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it acts as a bit of a fake-out cliffhanger because...
It does. Then they just walk away.
They just walk away and get on the bike,
it's
and it's fine.
Really.
Do we really think that, given what we've seen, do you think Gavrok would have really been the sort of person to withhold such treaties as the white flag?
No, I don't think so.
No,
in reality.
No, not at all.
No, if he's quite happy to kill that whole load of people on that bus,
Yeah.
I think he'd easily shoot those 3 people.
In the back.
Yeah. I wouldn't give a second.
Yeah.
I think he probably would have shot the Doctor coming towards him on the bike.
Well, I was going to say, to quote Rimmer in Red Dwarf, I'd happily shoot him if he was on the job. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bit of a fake out, but it's fine. That is one of the least ridiculous things.
Oh yeah,
in the
yeah,
story.
yeah.
Because we have, there's a bit of a run around, isn't there? You've got what is the piece of music that Keff McCulloch references? Is it Flight of the Bumblebee?
Yes.
Which is very apt because
we're
going to have a lot about bees.
Yeah.
Really interesting. I like that stuff about how the Delta with her little things that are implants in her head.
Yes.
She can pick up the frequency of the bees because obviously bees talk to one another.
Yes.
So that's really clever. It's a bit of a weird thing that they do. It's a bit of a very camp carry-on type of slapstick.
Yeah.
With
the honey, do you mean?
Let's set up a trap with the honey.
Yeah.
And release the bees. I mean,
it's not the greatest, is it? A little bit.
It's
okay.
It's not the greatest. It's a bit dopey.
It's a bit silly. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, but actually, watching it, I thought the way that they did the bees actually didn't look too bad.
Didn't look too bad, did it? Really? Yeah.
No, they looked bee-like. It wasn't like they just got little black dots.
No, they didn't.
They've
tried to do to try and make it. Yeah.
But it is a bit strange.
Yeah.
And then, of course, they go back to... I watch that scene, and every time I see it, I think, all that nice honey is going to waste.
I know. Wrecked in that, yeah.
But, I guess,
That was the 80s.
That was the 80s. Paul Garongway, he's got all these honeys
I
that
know,
are
from the 20s.
Yeah.
I know. And probably before, and
it's all been wasted.
Yeah.
Well, it's not wasted, I guess. It
helps.
It helps save the lives of Delta and
it does,
daughter.
yeah.
As a singer, what do you think of Delta's daughter's singing abilities?
Very impressive.
Very impressive.
Yeah,
So she can
some good high pitches there.
She can shatter the windows of that place.
Yeah.
The little house.
I said to you, we watched it the only sad thing is the thing doesn't make sense. It's obviously she does those high pitches and the windows break, which is fine.
Yeah.
But then when they do that back at Shangri-La and he
With all
goes
the
to the
speakers.
loudspeakers, the windows don't get.
No.
Obviously, they don't want to wreck the bloody butlins, whatever it
The
is.
budget to smash all those
the windows. But
is-
technically, I suppose that should have happened.
That should have happened.
You know.
And I think that's a clever way of defeating the
enemy.
The enemy.
Yeah.
You've got her natural singing ability.
Yeah.
You've got that kind of rock and roll element for Billy because
Yeah.
he's setting up his speakers, which
Yeah.
he previously mentioned in part 1 about how
Yes.
strong they were.
He did,
'cause
yeah.
He
At the
built
dance.
them at the dance,
Yeah.
yeah. And poor old Gavrock gets atomized.
He does, yes.
Because he's put the sonic cone thing as a
Top of the
booby trap around the
TARDIS,
TARDIS.
which is a good idea, isn't it?
That's a cool idea. And he falls into his own trap, hoist
does.
by his own petard, you might say.
To quote Patrick Troughton.
Is it?
Patrick Troughton says that, doesn't he?
Is he?
Yeah.
What story is that then?
Can't remember, but I know he says it.
Put your quote where your mouth is.
Yeah, hoist by his own petard. I'm sure he does.
He probably does. I was thinking.
not
I
say
think
that?
the Master says it as well. Antonioni says it in a story.
He may, but yeah, I'm
Maybe
sure.
in the King's Demons.
I thought Pat says it in something.
Possibly.
If you remember, put it in the comments.
Yeah, someone will.
I could be wrong, of course, but I'm vaguely thought Pat might have said that. I could be completely wrong.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
Someone will tell us. Someone will let us
Yeah.
know. Yes, and then that's really it, isn't it? He gets blown up.
He gets blown up.
Billy has
The Bannermen are all
Bannermen get tied up with shipping ropes.
with shipping ropes as you would.
Yeah, and then poor Billy. Well, not poor Billy. He's been feeding himself.
Those little green capsules or
Yeah,
what they
little
are,
syringes of baby feed for the Shimmeron princess, and slowly turns himself into a Shimmeron. Yeah, bit bonkers, isn't it? Really.
It is really, but that's what you do for love.
That's what you do for love. Yeah. What is it the Doctor says? I noted it. Love has never been known for its rationality.
Yeah.
That's a really nice quote.
Nice line. Yeah.
And that's another scene, I think. Again, you start to see more of Sylv's Doctor coming through.
Yeah.
Because it's a more sorrowful, more reflective
Yeah.
Doctor.
The tone, isn't it, in that point? Yeah.
Yeah. And then they shoot off in their
They go off in
really
the
good
spaceship.
The spaceship looks really good.
It looks
All
alright,
that
doesn't
stuff
it?
when it's
Yeah.
flying around
Yeah.
and landing in the camp and stuff.
It's okay. So they go off,
They
and
go
of course
off.
Billy says to Ray, "Look after Vincent, the motorbike."
The good motorbike,
Which
yeah,
she
with
does.
the sidecar. We did laugh, however, that during the chase scene,
Yes.
Delta's in the sidecar
And the child's on the back of the bike, not the other way
onto him.
around.
Yeah, it's like, well, put your daughter in the
I know.
sidecar.
You'd have thought
She'd be
so.
safe.
Yeah, a bit weird that.
It is a bit weird. Yeah, and what also makes me laugh is they get on the spaceship. Billy sits down in the chair and he goes, "Let's make this baby fly."
Yeah.
You know, and you think it's gonna take off. I'm like, whew. It is the slowest takeoff, and it is the just okay. It's like I'm on the bus, you know, and it's like it doesn't have the energy.
Well, I suppose it's all alien to him, isn't it? Literally,
It is literally.
He's trying to work out this technology, which is completely alien to him. So it's going to take a little while.
True. I mean, he's not flying it; she's flying it, isn't she?
Is he not doing anything as well to help out?
No, he didn't know what the bloody hell he's doing.
Oh,
He's
okay,
just
fair
sat
enough
there
then. Yeah,
going
yeah.
like, "Ooh,
Yeah.
let's wait for it." But regardless, I mean, it's one of those stories where everything wraps up very nicely.
Yeah.
They go off. Ray gets her motorbike,
But not her love, of course. So that is
not
quite
her
sad.
love. Burton's camp is fine, and he goes
yes,
off.
because there's 1950s group. No, they won't.
Another
People come
lot
along.
coming
Yeah, so
along.
they're going off, and the two Americans.
They get their satellite.
The Doctor points out
Yeah.
it's smashed into the sign or to the fence.
Yeah.
And you have that lovely ending, don't you, with Gronway looking at the camera or looking up and little wink.
Yeah, as the TARDIS disappears. Yeah.
Dematerialises. Yeah, it's lovely.
Which is what I like that because his character feels like he's on a bit of another level, really. Like this is what I mean, where he feels sort of
Doctorish,
doctorish.
yeah.
Because it's like he's not phased by anything.
No.
You know, he's not phased by aliens.
No,
he's
the
not
two guys are shocked when they see the TARDIS.
Yeah.
But he isn't. He just
He
has this
isn't.
little,
You know,
yeah.
nothing bothers him.
No.
You know, is he a curator? Is he a curator
He'd be
doctor?
good, wouldn't
He would be a good. You know, if the Doctor could become the curator of the Undergallery, why not settle in 1950s Wales with these bees?
Yeah.
So there we go. Coming soon from Big Finish Productions.
Yeah.
The Goronway Adventures of Goronway. How to
And his bees.
and his bees. Yeah. And then that's it. That's the end.
That's the
Mel
end.
doesn't really do an awful lot, does she, in that story?
She doesn't really, no. I suppose she doesn't.
She sort of plays
do
second
much.
fiddle.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
but-
trying to think what she does. She doesn't do that much, does she?
She doesn't do that much. But, you know, it's a good romp.
Yeah.
There's a good bit of action across the whole story.
There
Good
is.
motorbike chases,
Yeah.
you know, good use of location.
Yeah.
Good use of music, like we've already said.
Yeah.
Fantastic cast.
Yeah, very strong
other
cast.
than Delta,
Yeah, other than Delta.
but luckily she doesn't really say or do an awful lot.
she doesn't do much, does she? Yeah.
The cast are very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a really good, fun story. And it's really the sort of story that you could imagine. You could imagine it in like the Russell T Davies
Era. The early era,
You know,
yes,
you think
yeah.
this could be a story that Russell would be like, all right, you know.
Yeah.
Early on in this series, we'll have a little fun episode.
Yes.
And you know, it's not the first time Doctor Who has done holiday camp adventures, because we had the Macra Terror.
Yeah.
That's set in the holiday camp.
Yeah.
Obviously, that is completely sinister and creepy.
Yes,
whereas
of course
this
it is.
literally
Jovial and
just-
light-hearted,
yeah.
isn't it? Yeah.
But yeah, it is. It's a good, fun story.
Yeah.
And
I've always enjoyed it.
I've
liked the
always
story.
enjoyed it too. And I think it's interesting to see how people go with this story, because Billy put out on Review of Death Twitter that we were going to be talking about this story.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd share some of people's thoughts.
Oh, go on then.
So we can see the in fact, I've just clicked on to Twitter, and Mester the Magnificent is actually watching Delta and the Bannermen as a bank holiday treat.
Oh.
How funny. And he currently says, one of my favourite Seventh Doctor stories. It certainly seems to have undergone something of a rehabilitation since the 1990s, when received wisdom was that it was a real dud. And I completely agree. It's a fun little story. But let's see what other people have to say.
Interesting.
Because I had a quick look. I've had a sneaky peek already.
Have you?
But I thought it was just interesting how some people really, really thought this is a great, fun story.
Oh, really?
And
Oh,
other
okay.
people thought this is an absolute pile of shite.
Yeah.
So, lovely TARDIS Monkey put a messy story, but all the good plot points to make a really fun and light-hearted. It's so Doctor Who to want to go to Disney, but end up at Barry Island. And it's a shame the plot is a bit lackluster, but it had its wonderful 1950s charm. Also, Ray is a wonderful character. I think that's really
Fair
good.
enough, yeah.
Andrews said, a glorious mess. The sitcom style of the production seemed at odds with the script, which has some pretty grim moments, which we obviously mentioned.
We've mentioned. So
Don Henderson is great and really dribbles threat and evil. The synth music was great at the time, but now seems really dated and not in a nostalgic way. Fun and frothy in a strawberry milkshake sort of way, not to be taken too seriously. Yeah, I actually think the music works fine.
I like the music, yeah.
I'm a big fan of the music.
it works well.
There's that really good bit of the Doctor Who theme that we
There's
noticed.
the bit of the
wasn't it?
theme, yeah,
When
which is
they're
lovely.
One of the sort of beauty spots
Beauty
that they go
spots
to.
at the end of the scene, isn't it?
Yeah.
You hear it, yeah. The transition.
You know, it's a bit like his Latin remix.
Yeah.
Or the Batman March theme for Doctor Who
Well,
action figure
quite.
reviews.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Kev McCulloch hasn't come knocking on my door
Well,
saying...
what are you doing?
Yeah. Sorry, Kev. Ricky of Khan from Sisterhood of Khan says the extended version of the Blu-ray set brings this story to glorious life, in my opinion. Yeah, we enjoyed the extended version.
Yes. We didn't watch it recently.
This time, no. We stuck to the televised version
yeah.
for this one. I mean, I can't really remember it adding an awful lot more to the story. It was really just extended shots and stuff.
I think so.
And Ken Dodd's
Supposed to plot, but
ridiculous, over-the-top death.
Yeah.
Jamie Bates said pure joy. Deborah Jemington said, I loved Out in the Bannerman. The tone is really nice for me. It's the best of season 24 by far. Really enjoy it. An underrated gem, in my opinion.
So they're quite positive, really. Can you find any negative ones?
I mean, Arbiter of Canon said, doesn't need a reappraisal because it's a fucking banger. Well,
there we go.
But Oliver Keith Carter says, I honestly think this is the worst story in the classic series. That is all. The worst story.
In the whole of classic Doctor Who?
Wow, that is quite a claim.
That is quite a claim.
I mean, I think Paradise Towers is much worse for the reasons that we've already stated.
Yeah.
Although, like I said, I did enjoy it more when we recently rewatched it.
yeah.
But Richard Briers being way too over the top.
Yes. But I think there are some other worse stories in classic Doctor Who in previous seasons.
Yeah?
Do you think?
I mean, there's some shit ones, isn't there? Like the Horns of Nimon. We watched that recently.
The Horns of Nimon's pretty bad, isn't it?
God, that's pretty awful.
Yeah.
That is pretty appalling. I mean, it's fun to laugh at, but as an actual bit of television, it's pretty
it's not
poor.
great, is it?
Yeah, any other ones that really stick out in your mind as this is a shit Doctor Who story? Any that really make you long for death when you're watching it?
I'm sure there's a few Peter Davison ones.
Oh dear.
Sorry, Annie, but he's got a few boring ones, hasn't he?
He does, unfortunately. I mean, I know, again, sorry, Annie, because she really likes Enlightenment. But I find Enlightenment
well, there we go.
Quite dull.
Yeah, hardly Enlightenment. I mean, put you to sleep-enment, but anyway.
Put you to sleep-enment.
Anyway.
Yeah, dear. Yeah. Anything from... Oh my God, Time Lash. Time Lash is an absolute stinker.
Yeah, of course. That's worse than this one.
Oh God, yeah, so much worse.
Well, this guy's saying this is the worst story in classic Doctor Who, so I'm trying to say,
no, you're totally
surely
right.
that can't be the case.
Is appalling, but Time Lash does have the Borad, who is very good.
He's a great character, yeah.
And Paul Darrow is ridiculously over the top.
He is, yeah.
But there's some really ropey acting. There's that woman in Time Lash, whoever she is. The one who ends up like I really can't remember what that story is about. It's one of those stories that no matter how many times I've watched it, my brain just doesn't take in the plot.
No.
She's like ghosting her way through time. She ends up in H.G. Wells' house.
That one. Oh yeah.
She can't act.
No.
No offense.
So that's a negative one. Any other negative ones?
Seventh Son put okay, second to bottom in season 24 for me, behind Rani. I think it's just too fluffy and sunny for my taste.
So he doesn't like all the jovial nature.
No.
Interesting.
And that's actually something that I like. It feels, because it's one of those rare occasions where it's actually a very sunny shoot. And it really suits the tone of the story. It
does,
It feels like a summer holiday Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Which is why it's quite strange when you said...
It's in November.
It's in November, because this is the sort of Doctor Who that, again, if it was Russell T Davies, when Doctor Who was on in the spring into the beginning of summer...
it would be in that sort of time, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would have fit really well. It does feel like a proper summer holiday, bank holiday Doctor Who story. Draconian Menace said... Oh, even in their bio, they put, I will defend Delta and the Bannermen to the death.
Oh, right.
Gloriously camp, often unfairly dismissed. It's an absolute blast from start to end. Okay, it's no Androzani Remembrance, but there are a few serials I can honestly say I have more fun watching. The worst thing Doctor Who can be is boring, and it certainly isn't that. And it is peak Kef. And it is peak Kef McCulloch.
Yeah, it's a good review.
I want to see if there's... I mean, really, a lot of people... are
quite positive, are they?
It's really good.
That's good.
This person here, Joel Catherines, years ago I declared it the worst Doctor Who story, so another one. The tonal whiplash bothered me more than anything, and I seriously considered why I was still watching the show. At some point I'll revisit it for re-evaluation, because anything that bonkers has to have something going for it. Interesting. So that was, I guess, like at the time watching it, that they were like, oh, this is it for me. Risk Averse put, I remember watching it when it first came out and thinking that it was by a mile the worst Doctor Who story of all time. And I stick by that view.
Wow.
Tonally bizarre, nonsensical, childish pantomime, and I hated it. Doesn't count as real Doctor Who!
Sorry, it does.
Oh, and then someone else agreed by saying, yes, the whole eating alien food turns a human into an alien subplot as well. Good grief. Kendrick said, I hate it.
Interesting.
A few other people have said, they've gone back to it and enjoyed it. Yeah.
Would you agree with that extremely harsh comment about it being, whatever, I forget.
The one that just said that it was just a tonally bizarre, nonsensical, childish.
I don't think it's a nonsensical story. I think
no. I mean, all right, maybe eating alien food turning you into an alien is a bit of a stretch.
All right,
but. Is it any more bizarre than some of the other mad stuff that happens in Doctor Who?
Probably not.
No.
Especially in modern Doctor Who.
It's quite a divisive story, but I'm pleasantly surprised to see how many people have said, actually, really like it. It's good fun. And it is.
Yeah.
I
we
think
enjoyed it, didn't we?
we enjoyed it. I had a good time watching it with you when we watched it the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen it, and we've completely spoiled the story for you, I do apologise, but, go and give it a watch. And if it's one of those stories where you think, oh, I don't really feel it.
Yeah. Give it another go.
Yeah, I think it's one that is worthy of a reappraisal. And I think, coming out of some of the modern Doctor Who stories, which can be quite camp and ridiculous, I don't think it's any worse. Than,
I don't think so.
Than say something like Love and Monsters, which is obviously camp and ridiculous.
I hate that story.
I know you hate that story.
Yeah.
Sorry, Annie, who also likes that story.
Sorry, Annie.
But there we go. So there we go. That was Delta and the Bannermen, and it was good fun. And thank you, Jonathan, for coming in dressed up as Sylvester McCoy.
That's fine.
It's
My
always
pleasure.
a treat to see you dressed up like that.
Shall I stand up and give the viewers a
go on.
twirl?
Give them a twirl.
Shall I? Will they be able to see?
Sorry, I've been
Sat on my good hanky, have you?
Yeah. Sorry, if I'd have farted on it, that would have been even more atrocious, wouldn't it?
It would have been atrocious, yeah. Poor Syl. There we go. Shall I stand over here? Will people be able to see my...
If you stand over there, that camera should be able to see
Will it get my shoes? Or
it'll get your shoes.
Or will it get the...
It should do. If I just move that table back a bit. There you are.
There we go.
There you are. The full McCoy.
Full McCoy. There we go.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to get you at a convention, walking around, so people can say, "Can I have a photo, please?"
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
Or maybe the security will say, "Can you go?"
Very possibly.
Very possibly. So yes, thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. As ever, if you're enjoying this, tell your friends, tell your buddies.
And if you're not, don't worry, I won't be here next week. Billy's back, so
Billy's
it's fine.
back next time. We're not sure what we're going to be doing next. We've got a few things in the pipeline. It could be something season 18 oriented. It could be something else. We don't know. We have to find out. But Billy will be back in a fortnight. And yes, thank you, Johnny, for coming along.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me for the last 2 weeks.
It's been great. It's been good fun. And thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. Tell your friends, like, subscribe, share it, all that kind of stuff. And see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.